Jesus performed miracles all day, healed crowds until nightfall, and had people demanding his time constantly. And in the middle of all that, he still walked away. Alone. On purpose. Regularly. If the busiest, most needed person in human history made rest non-negotiable, maybe the problem isn't your schedule. Maybe it's what you've been taught to believe about rest. You wake up already tired. You go through your to-do list and feel behind before 9 a.m. You tell yourself you'll rest after this week, and then next week arrives exactly the same. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's caring for someone else, kids, an aging parent, a ministry, a team that depends on you. Maybe you don't even remember the last time you did nothing without feeling guilty about it. And somewhere along the way, you started believing that rest is what happens after everything is done. The problem is, everything is never done. This isn't a wellness slogan. Jesus modeled and taught rest directly in the Gospels, in the middle of the busiest ministry period of his life. If the Son of God needed to withdraw regularly, this isn't optional for you either. Mark 1 describes a day so full that by evening, the whole city was gathered at Jesus' door, sick and desperate for healing. He healed many of them. Then, very early the next morning, while it was still dark, he got up and went to a solitary place to pray. And when his disciples found him, they said, "Everyone is looking for you." The need hadn't stopped. The demand hadn't paused. He walked away anyway. Here's the idea you need today. Rest isn't what you get once the need disappears. The need never fully disappears. Rest is a decision you make in the middle of it, not a reward you earn after it. Practical idea. Pick one specific time this week, even 20 minutes, and treat it as non-negotiable, the same way Jesus treated his early mornings. Not if I have time. Scheduled, like an appointment you won't cancel. But knowing rest matters doesn't solve the guilt that comes with actually taking it. In Mark 6, Jesus tells his disciples directly, "Come away by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." Not as a suggestion for someday. Right after they'd returned from ministry, exhausted, with people still coming and going so much they didn't even have time to eat. Notice what Jesus didn't say. He didn't say, "Push through, there's still work to do." He said the opposite, "Stop and rest," precisely because the work was demanding. Here's the bold claim. Treating exhaustion as a badge of honor isn't more spiritual. It's actually closer to disobedience, because Jesus explicitly commanded rest as part of following him, not as a break from it. Practical idea. The next time you feel guilty for resting, say this out loud. Jesus commanded this. I'm not neglecting anything. I'm obeying something. Let that replace the guilt with permission. But even when you take the time, sometimes your mind won't actually rest. That's a different problem with a different answer. Notice something specific in these stories. Jesus didn't just stop. He went somewhere, a solitary place, a mountain, a boat away from the shore. Rest, for him, had a location and a purpose, withdrawing specifically to be with the Father. This matters because a lot of what we call rest today, scrolling, half watching something, lying down while still mentally running through tomorrow's list, isn't actually rest. It's just stopping activity without stopping the noise. Here's the practical shift. True rest needs a destination, not just an absence. For Jesus, that destination was prayer and solitude. For you, it might start there too. Not another form of stimulation, but an actual quiet space where your mind can stop performing. Practical idea. This week, instead of resting in front of a screen, take 15 minutes somewhere quiet. No phone, no scrolling, and simply sit. If it feels uncomfortable at first, that's normal. Your mind isn't used to that kind of silence anymore. But rest isn't only about escaping the noise. Sometimes it's about receiving something specific that Jesus directly offers. Matthew 11:28 records one of the most direct invitations Jesus ever gave. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Not figure out how to rest better. Not manage your time more efficiently. Come to me, and I will give you rest. The rest being offered here isn't primarily about your schedule. It's about where you place the weight you've been carrying. Here's the bold claim. Some of what exhausts you isn't the number of hours you work. It's the weight of trying to carry everything alone, without ever actually handing any of it over. Practical idea. Today, name one specific burden you've been carrying entirely on your own. A worry, a responsibility, a fear, and pray it out loud as an act of handing it over, not just thinking about it. I'm bringing this to you because you said you'd carry it with me. Let's make this concrete instead of theoretical. Point 1. Schedule one non-negotiable block of rest this week, even if it's short. 2. Replace the guilt of resting with the truth that Jesus commanded it. 3. Choose an actual quiet destination for rest, not just an absence of activity. 4. Name one burden you're carrying alone and hand it over in prayer today. None of these require you to first finish everything on your plate. Jesus never waited for that either. At the start, I told you the busiest, most needed person in history still walked away to rest on purpose regularly. Now you know it wasn't an accident. It was the pattern the whole time. You don't need permission to rest. You already have it, straight from his own words. Come to me, and I will give you rest. This week, take the one small step we talked about. One quiet block, one burden handed over. If this message spoke to you today, subscribe. We keep talking about what really matters here every week. And if you know someone running on empty right now, send them this message today.